If you'll join me in the pledge, I would appreciate it. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Y'all done that really well. Chair got a little bit to it. I didn't do the moment of silence.
We can do it right now, Coach.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Let's have a moment of silence. Okay, sorry. Thank you so much. Let's see. Before we approve the agenda, we've got a couple of items to add. I remember.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing? Under, I think I did this.
Yeah, add this one.
Yeah. Under, I think you have these items. You've got a field trip, and we'll put that under number 2, under the consent agenda. And I'll start with Logan, okay, right. And then the other one is a resolution, number 2022-112, and we'll put that under number 6 under new business. Right? Comment?
It's already on there. It's already on there.
This one here is?
It's number 5.
Number 5.
It's number 5.
The resolution.
The resolution number 5 is on
Well, I
there.
thought this was a new one.
That's the one I had put a note in there that I would bring the paperwork. We didn't have
Didn't
it
see
at
the
the
note.
time, so yeah, it's okay.
All right. All right.
Approval of that agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with them added on.
Okay. Is there a second? Second by Nancy. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you so much. 7-0. 7-0. Again, Danny's here tonight. You caused me some problems.
The flu caused me problems too.
They pointed out it's 6-0. I said, where did Danny go? Anyway, next is citizen input. I've had too many time laws. Anyway, we got 2 folks. Michelle. Name, address, and subject matter. 3 minutes.
Michelle I, Woodbriar, Jefferson City. The subject is the Resilient Communities Grant. That's under the funding on your budget amendments. The Resilient Communities Grant is part of the funding in that long packet that was on the online. And so I want to talk about that because that's money. It appears that you get the money and then you give the money out. So there's many concerns about the shift that we're seeing in the schools as they're moving away. I'm sorry. Okay, as they're moving away from the 3 R's and becoming an agent of social services. The last school director even stated that at a meeting that we're no longer just about the 3 R's. We are largely social services. And many people find this troubling. With our dismal academic reading scores alone, it should give us pause to reevaluate programs that take away from academic instruction. This is a grant that is given for Allied Health is who gets the money for giving some kind of a psychiatric and psychological medical treatment on campus. So reoccurring medical treatment shouldn't be done on campus, nor should school districts become go-betweens for a third-party medical care agency. If this continues, how far will it go? What other medical treatments are going to be done at schools? Also, how many hours of instruction are students losing in these sessions? Are these psychiatric, psychological sessions being done during school hours, or is this being done after school hours? The grant incentivizes schools and the third-party institution to find more children with mental health needs because they get more funding. So they need more trauma-informed students So the grant itself uses that term, trauma-informed. And how is that accomplished? How do they find these trauma-informed students? Surveys. Okay, this is how we find them. This is what surveys are being conducted on our children. And I had mentioned that with the last core measure survey. If they find these children, excuse me, if they find these children have been subject to drugs, they can be trauma-informed, and that gives them more money for this funding. It's a carefully crafted system that's been put in place to radically change the nature of public education. I don't even understand why medical treatment's being done at school. I don't understand that. I know that they said there was something like 370 students are receiving some kind of psychiatric and psychological sessions or something, some kind of treatment at school. That it's just mind-boggling to me. I think we should get back to the 3 R's and get the medical system out. I understand having a school nurse, I think that's important, but this other stuff, I don't even understand it. So let's make sure we get back to the 3 R's and make sure graduates can read at a beyond high school level and they're ready and equipped for post-secondary education, and quit doing this kind of stuff in school. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is Marcus Reed. Name, address, and subject matter. 3 minutes.
My name is Marcus Reed, 902 Lakewood Drive, Jefferson City. I just would like to share with you, Mr. Chairman and board members, that I appreciate what Mr. Solomon said about working with the instructional assistants, taking a look at their pay. I was contacted by several, and I'm sure it had something to do with what we went through as county commission, because we lost some sheriff deputies. I know you guys have lost teachers, and what it boils down to is pay. Just a little data information. A livable wage in Tennessee in 2020 was a single adult with no child, $13.25 an hour. I would say that's pretty difficult to live on right now when rent has went sky high, food has went sky high, along with everything else that I've never seen in my lifetime at one time. But I definitely saw it back in the early 1970s. In reality, for 2-person parents and 1 child, you're looking at $25 to $30 an hour to survive these days. I'm glad that you're putting it on the agenda to work at, because we had to work hard as county commissioners to look and see what we could do to try to help some of our employees who are making $10 an hour. And yet you have some who are making $20.57, and they've been working for you for 20 years. In my mind, that's hard to fathom. I think throughout our county, and I hate to say the county side, the school side, because we're in this battle of life together, and that's why I appreciate, and I'm speaking as a citizen, not just as a commissioner, Mr. Jarnigan, you talking about getting together with county commission. I'm all open for direct, respectful dialogue between me and you. I can't speak for the other commissioners. We've got a lot going on in this county. We've got a lot going on within our government. Our government's in a big hole. $31 trillion. Who's going to pay for that? Me, you, all of us. But anyway, thank you for looking at that, because one of the most important things in a kid's life is a teacher, an instructional assistant, and the people, they're the people that man the trenches and fighting the battles. So please take a good look and see what you can do. A bonus doesn't work. A bonus is a one-time shot. You can't budget a household on a bonus. But thank you for the open dialogue tonight, and I look forward to January. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members, Dr. Arnold. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Please. Next is the item for information. Any questions there by anybody? None? Nobody? Okay, let's move on down to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Jarnigan,
Second.
and second by Mr. Doug. Any discussion? No? All in favor, raise your right hand. And it's 7-0. All right, next on the agenda is, Policy Committee, second reading, Policy 5.501, complaints and grievances. This only needs a motion to approve, no second is necessary. Is there a motion? Did I miss something?
Consent agenda items? Did you miss that?
Yeah, I did.
Did we?
I did that. You, maybe.
Sorry.
I'm out past Pluto as it is, don't
Don't take him further.
Don't like my rocket. I love it, thank you, broke the ice. Now,
Motion.
okay.
Now we need to vote.
Policy 5.501, doesn't need a motion, no second necessary. The motion, we've got Mr. Stallman, right, or were you just? You're messing with old man then. Any discussion, anybody? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. And we're 7-0 again, right now. Okay, budget amendments, if you'd like, we can do both of these together. If you have questions from a finance director right now, that'd be great, or after a motion's made, whichever you want to do.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to speak to the budget amendment 14210 that refers to the Resilient Communities Grant. I would like to make a motion and then have a discussion about it if possible. If somebody-
So you wanted to do these separate?
I do, yes.
Okay, so let's do A first.
That's
then,
fine.
Right?
That's fine.
So is there a motion to approve general purpose fund amendment 141, number 12? Is there a motion?
I move it.
Motion made by Doug, is there a second?
I'll second.
Danny Martin, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. And 7-0. All right, you want to talk about it first or make the motion?
I'd like to make a motion and then we can go and discuss it.
Okay, go ahead and make your motion.
Okay, I would like to move that budget amendment 10 be approved with the omission of item 2 referring to the resilient school communities in the amount of $117,404.93.
I'll second.
Second,
You said remove that?
What we're
It's on,
talking,
on budget.
we're talking
Number
about.
2 item.
Yeah.
I've got it in my hand, but which one are you talking about?
Number 2.
We're
we're
talking.
talking about Act B, under budget amendment, we approved we voted on them separately. And he's,
I move that we approve the one that's listed on our agenda as B, or as, what is it?
Item 2,
Yeah, number 2.
I believe is the one you're referring to.
Okay. Is everybody kind of following me where we're at?
It's the second item on that budget amendment.
Yes, the second
B,
item.
142, number 10,
Number 10, yes.
Item 2.
okay.
Okay.
Could you repeat your motion one more time?
Yeah.
please? Just for me and,
I move that we approve the budget amendment dealing with Fund 14210, all right, be approved with the omission of item number 2, which deals with the resilient schools communities in the amount of $117,404.93.
We've got a second. Floor's open for discussion. If you'd like to continue on, you'll go first.
Okay, the school board is also referred to by many people as the Board of Education in other states, other counties. Not the Board of Education, Social Services, and Student Psychoanalysis. This Resilient School Communities Act, which I have a copy of here, if anybody would like to see it, does not provide one penny to advance our main commitment to our students, which is to provide education so that they can succeed in the world. What it does do is provide a 2-year grant for drastically expanding social services and psychological services in our school district. It does this by mandating the hiring, and I'm reading from the grant itself, the hiring of a separate coordinator just to monitor this grant and to manage people training, the people training and administration of this grant. Those additional staff members include, again quoting from the grant, counselors, psychologists, social workers, behavioral specialists, full-time contractors, converting existing part-time positions to full-time positions, and renewing expired posts that once were funded by COVID-19 funding. Okay, how many of these folks will be hired? Okay, on page 7 of this program, it states specifically, and I will read right from it. Districts selected to participate in the 2-year Resilient School Communities program will require a team of 3 to 5 in each school building, not school district, each school building in the district, with at least one being an administrator. And then it says, on this questionnaire where it's asking if will your school level coordinator be able to assemble these teams by early fall for training purposes. This would mean that for this 2-year grant, 12 schools times a minimum of 3 people in each school would be an additional 36 new full-time employees. Or if we have 12 schools and do the maximum, 12 schools times 5 full-time employees, that's 60 new full-time employees. The grant states that the 2-year grant can be used to pay for these additional personnel. But what happens after 2 years? We've hired them, they're on board, we're paying insurance, Social Security, retirement. We're not going to have that money after 2 years, and we're going to have 36 to 60 new full-time employees. All right? If we are going to hire that many folks, I prefer they be educators dealing directly in our teaching profession, not psychoanalysts and social workers. Before contributing to this bureaucratic bloat, let's first budget to pay our existing staff a decent wage, continue our advancement towards educational proficiency, as was outlined a couple of 3 meetings ago by the gentleman from the school district, who's showing that slowly but surely we're getting back to pre-COVID, levels, and give our teachers the supplies and resources they need to do the job they want to do. Let's continue as an educational institution, not a social institution with a small amount of academics thrown in here and there. So my main concern is we're drifting away from our what we're here for. And the more we go for these, it's easy to grab at the bait, but once you're hooked by the state, you're hooked. I can't imagine having 36 to 60 new full-time employees who are not directly involved in education. So I specifically ask that we do not approve that budget amendment.
Do you care if I speak to that?
Yeah, I just want.
So the way the grant was written, you could either go that route and hire new employees, or I contacted the state and asked, could we pay for a contract that we already have? So we already have a contract with and an MOU with Allied Behavioral Health, and they said, yes, we could do that. So this is saving our county that money, instead of it coming out of our budget to pay for the second semester, the grant is gonna pay for that. So
Okay,
there will
and
be
how
no
much is-
additional.
how much is the grant?
It's 117, I think 404 or something,
Okay, and that's the total grant?
yes.
I still believe that it leads us in the wrong direction.
So we have, and I don't care to do another presentation like I did last February on the mental health needs of our students and how many students and families are taking this resource that we have and are using it in our schools. And I know these principals back here would also be able to attest that there are some students who need this intervention to successfully be at school and to not go home and hurt themselves at night.
And to that, I say, I'm sure there are, but I feel that our existing staff is doing a very good job.
They are.
I do not think we need to get in bed with the state anymore, where they start pulling our strings, and because we take their money telling us how to, just like the proposal or the resolution that we had before that Tommy Arnold made, where they, the third grade retention. They were trying to tell us how to run our school district. We sent a resolution, said we object to that. I object to the state telling us how to run our education system here by taking this grant and expanding an area that has absolutely nothing to do with educating our kids. And with that, I'll be quiet.
Mr. Chairman?
Got the second over here, your turn.
I'll just be brief. It troubles me when they dangle money out there to pay for things and what you can get into. And I understand we're gonna be using this to pay for the Allied Behavioral Health for the district. As a teacher, I see what goes on in the classroom. I understand there are mental problems with a lot of these kids. But I didn't go to school to be trained to do that, and I don't feel like school is the place to be doing mental health. That's my personal opinion. But I understand, I thank you for clarifying that. That was my question, is where this stuff is going, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
Chairman, okay, go ahead.
No,
I was gonna ask, he made something that we have to pick it up after 2 years. Do we have to pick that up after?
No, Allied's contract goes year to year.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. May I call the question?
the question can call for, do you mind?
That has to be seconded. A call for a question does have to be seconded.
I say.
Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand.
In favor of what? In favor of my motion?
You have to vote on the question.
motion?
Oh, we have
No,
to.
no, you said-
No, we were
We're
voting on
voting
this
on
call for the
this.
question. Okay, I just
Oh,
wanted to.
you said it had to have a second.
Yeah, it does,
So
yeah.
We gotta take care of this first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all in favor of the call for the question, raise your right hand. Wait, go higher, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get them, Rhonda? All opposed, raise your right hand. 5 to 2. Okay. Motion passes. Would you mind loaning me your motion? You need it, I'd like to give it to Rhonda. I wanna read it.
I'll write it out better, but I'll read it.
Well,
We've got to vote on his motion first.
well, I'm supposed to read it before we vote. The motion's supposed to be read back to the group. If you want to do it, go ahead, read the
Okay, yeah,
motion.
because I wrote it a different way than I actually did. Okay.
Yeah,
I move the budget amendment number 10 be approved with the omission of item 2 dealing with the Resilient School Communities program in the amount of $117,404.93.
Yes, sir. Everybody understands the motion, correct? All those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. Okay. 2. Good. All opposed, raise your right hand. Motion fails 5-2.
I make a motion to accept the amendments as presented to us at this time, please.
Okay, so your motion is to,
Accept the amendments.
federal, okay, Federal Purpose Fund 141, number 10.
Yes, sir. As
Is
presented.
that your motion? Is there a second?
142 days.
Yes, what did I say? 142-10. Are you here? Thank you. Second? Anybody?
I second.
Moose?
I second. sir.
Okay. Discussion? No discussion?
Don't discuss how I got it, it ain't costing us nothing, it ain't gonna cost us nothing in the long run. And I don't see, I know, I worked in school before, I know that a lot of kids needs it, trust me. I work on the other side, trust me, I know they do. And I think this is helping the principals, I think it's helping us teachers, because I know Josh is a teacher and everything, but I'm telling you, there's just so much out there needed, you just don't know. And I'm for 100%, cause it ain't costing us nothing, it ain't. So I hush on that, so.
Everybody else? Yes, sir. John.
How much have we already paid Allied Health for this year? Do you have an idea?
It's $100,000 each semester. And they provide 10 school-based behavioral health liaisons, so we have one for each school. And then this year, because we've had so many referrals, they've given us 2 for free. So we have 12. Because that is how many needs that we have in our school. And I'm sorry I'm getting upset about this, but you have no idea what some of these kids go through. And they need it here at school because their parents, sometimes they won't take them at home. And the teachers need them in it also to, like to have a break. And I'm sure that the teachers and the principals both would tell you and stand up and say, this is a quality service for our students and they need it.
Any other discussion?
I agree with that, and I'm all for reading, writing.
Yeah.
This is needed, talk to the teachers, it's needed. It's a service that's needed. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion? Yes, sir.
I just want to clarify, I'm not calling for a stop to psychological and social services. Absolutely not. What I was calling for is an investment, is the state coming in and giving us money to start tracking kids and doing more surveys and asking them intimate questions that if I were to ask them those questions on an employment application, I'd be in court the next day. The last survey that was referred to, that core survey, that sounds like something you'd fill out in the waiting room of a psychologist's office. All right? And that information, once given to the psychologist, could not be shared because if you did that, that would be a violation of a HIPAA violation. So why we are asking kids for this information when an employer couldn't ask a potential applicant for that, and why you're asking kids for information they can't be shared.
Doug, you're getting away from.
Oh, no,
We're
no,
voting
no.
on a budget amendment.
I-
Another meeting, please.
Wait a minute.
Excuse, yeah.
You've got into this, back into the survey.
No,
which-
no, but I'm just clarifying. I'm not voting for this because, or for or against this, because I don't think social services and
We got
psychiatric.
that, we understand.
Okay, as long as everybody understands that.
I understand, this is business,
That's right.
everybody's got their own opinion, no problem. So as I understand it, the motion is to approve budget amendment, Federal Purpose Fund 142, number 10. All right, All in favor, raise your right hand. Aye. Got it wrong. And opposed? 2. You got it. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. It's good to have discussion, folks. Have no problems.
Question from the audience?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. New business for discussion. Okay, number 1, bonus breakdown, full-time classified. I think the director's already enlightened us on this, so I guess all that's needed right now is a motion.
I make a motion, take make it $180,000 out of fund balance to break down our classified full-time employees. To even it out, to make sure they ain't missing, like you said in the budget.
Let's do 185.
185.
Make sure.
Make it 185,000 out of our fund balance for our full-time.
To fund
To fund
full-time
classified
with a bonus
bonus
of how much?
of the plan that we went on, the plan that we break down plan.
Okay, so it's gonna be the same
As-
breakdown.
Yes, same
Gotcha.
breakdown. I know a bonus ain't, I know it's a one thing, I understand about bonus, Mark, I understand it. I'm gonna say thank you, but we need to look at that in our retreat.
Okay, we need a second. You made the motion, we got a second.
Oh, Josh said.
Josh seconds the motion. All right, now you can, Bruce, you can discuss.
Oh, I just want to say
You
that. we
through,
need
or-
to- Yeah, no, I'm through. We need to go on, but I just want to say I'm for this,
Okay.
classified people
Okay.
down low. I really am.
Josh, anything?
I agree with my esteemed colleague.
Okay. What was that word you called him?
Esteemed colleague.
Good. Any other discussion? No, we're good. So the motion is to utilize, what was the dollar amount, 100 and what?
85, up to.
Up to 185,000
Yes, sir.
for bonuses for full-time classified employees.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor of this motion, raise your right hand. Okay, and all opposed? 9, 7, nothing. Or if that is not here, it's 6, nothing. Number 2, under new business, Jefferson County High School curriculum guide for the school year 2023, 2024. I'm sure you read through that and looked through it. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I saw him first because I was looking that way, so second. Okay, got a second. Danny made the motion and Nancy a second, okay? Danny, you can go first if you want to discuss the discussion. None, okay. Anybody else? All right, so the motion is to adopt the curriculum guide for 2023-2024 school year. All those in favor of this motion, raise your right hand. 7. All opposed? None. Number 3, director's contract / evaluation date. That has already been explained to us. Probably the best place to start would be with a motion.
I make a motion to do what Tommy says, what he discussed with us in a work session from June the 30th to December 31st. Am I correct, Tommy? That's correct. In the motion to do
Well,
that.
okay. If you don't mind, let me read this.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Okay. The board shall evaluate the director's performance no later than June 30th during the first year of employment.
Yes.
And then every year after, then it will be December 31st, correct?
Correct.
And we got,
That's my motion.
okay, need second discussion, anybody? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. And 7, those opposed, 0. Okay, resolution number 2022-11, Technology Department surplus. That was in your packet. Do I hear a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Doug, is there a second?
Second.
Josh, second. Discussion? Anybody? All those in favor of adopting resolution number 2022-11, Technology Department surplus, raise your right hand. 7 yes votes. Any no? No, no, no no's.
No, no.
And, last one, we tried to do this one twice, but I'm glad you got me stopped. Probably wouldn't have done it twice. Resolution number 2022-12, Jefferson County High School surplus. A lot of stuff on that list. I'm sure you looked over every item as such. Do I hear a motion to adopt? Who did? Bill? Okay. Did you make the motion?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Second. Bill made the motion. Nancy second. Discussion. Anybody? Okay, so the motion is to adopt resolution number 2022-12, Jefferson County High School surplus. Polaris paperwork to be brought to the meeting. Oh, okay. Not for the motion. All those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. 7 yes votes and no's, none. Okay, unfinished business, we don't have loose papers laying around. No, field
We
trip.
got that.
We got it already.
We got that in consent agenda.
Consent.
No problem.
You apologize?
I'm sitting here,
You apologize to me.
I had to go down and I never.
I was slipped up at me tonight. Thank you.
He's intimidated.
All right, here we go. School commissioner input. We've got 2. Bill, we'll start with you, Jefferson Elementary School. You can
I
fill
asked-
us in, give us your opinion, ideas, or whatever.
I asked this to be put on the agenda. I represent the 3rd precinct, which is the 4th district in Jefferson City, which consists of the grammar school. I continuously get calls day in, day out. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna do it? What are we gonna do? We, as a board and county commissioners, can all agree there has to be something done in Jefferson City. Regardless what, when, the longer we put it off, the more it's gonna cost, and I understand what Mr. Marcus was talking about there. You read today's paper and you see what kind of confusion the county commissioners had trying to get the space built within our county. We started talking about Jefferson City, I have the date back there when we started Piedmont. At that time, we could have built that school for approximately $16 million. Well, we was told that the COVID now was not a good time to build it. That's what all our commissioners thought. Mr. Potts stood right here in this room and told us this was the best time that we could build, was at the present time when he was talking about it. Since then, we went through several processes. The last bid we got was $19,600,000 that we asked our county commissioners to fund us for. We got a price of $26 million. It was 26.9 to build the new school in Jefferson City. We asked our commissioners, they said, no, that was too much. We as a school board agreed to take $8 million from our fund balance to go towards the building with Jefferson Elementary School. The commissioners refused to accept our offer of that amount of money. In other words, they refused to $6 million, but they agreed to put $1 million into the fund balance reserve for the new school in Jefferson City. They asked us to cut classrooms to begin with. We've got our classrooms. Our final decision, we asked them to add the classrooms back to it. So as we stand right now, we're nowhere. Our county commissioners and school board, we've got to agree on something somehow, some way. We have $1 million available in our reserve fund balance at the present time. We made the motion to take $6 million more from our fund balance, but our county commissioners refused to accept that offer. So therefore, saying what I said, I still think we may need to move forward with some decision. And whatever they agree on, I've asked that we meet together to try to discuss this situation. And hopefully we can work out something. But I would like to make a motion that we as a school board ask our director to go to our county commissioners and our finance department and ask them how much money they will give the school board to use on the Jefferson Grammar School. Once we have that amount, whether it be 15 million, 10 million, 20 million, or not at any at all, then we'll go back to them and tell them what we can do with that amount of money. Not counting on any money from the school right at the present time, except the $1 million that is put into reserve.
Got a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Can you read the motion again? I'm sorry.
I would like to make a motion that we as a school board ask our director of schools to go to the county commissioners or the finance commissioner and ask them for an amount of how much money they will give the school board to use on the Jefferson Grammar School. Once we have the amount, we go back to our county commissioners and tell them what we can do for that amount of money, not counting on any amount from schools except $1 million at the present time.
May I ask a question, or does it have to be second?
Yeah, we gotta have a second before they're in discussion.
Well, I'll second it so we can have discussion.
Doug seconds the motion.
May I ask a question?
He gets to go first.
Excuse me.
I don't have anything else to say. I mean, I just like to see a movement
Doug's
somewhat.
next.
Okay. I seconded it, not necessarily because I believe it, but I want to have a discussion on this. I think it's important. My dad was a Navy man, and he said, a battleship is a battleship. Regardless of how you paint it, it's still a battleship. We have been pushing for a new Jefferson County school for some 2.5, 3 years, 4 years. And as Mr. Jernigan said, it's no further along than it is now. I believe that we need to provide the county commission with alternatives. I know right now there are two alternatives that, you know, I like, and I'm not making a motion on this, but I'm basing what I'm saying, addressing the motion. A couple of the county commissioners have found people who have said that they will provide us figures on renovating the school at no or virtually no cost. That might be an alternative we can look at. I have an alternative, and it has to do with building a new building, but not in Jefferson County, or not the Jefferson Elementary School. Originally, the high school was built, was planned to have 6 pods. Right now, it has 5. So I am proposing, just for discussion's sake, and in response to Mr. Jarnigan, because I think it has to do with your dollar figure and all that, to build a 6th pod on the ground of the high school. All right? Move, once that is built, the 9th grade, now at Patriot Academy, to the high school, and the new pod will provide additional space for the kids. You then move the middle school to Patriot Academy. That would be approximately 400 and some odd kids to a building that can house 1,000 kids. Then you make minor modifications to the middle school for the younger kids and move the Jefferson Elementary kids to the middle school. At that point, we would have an empty building that we can decide what we want to do with. in the future, that the kids would be out of that lousy building, they would be safe in a school that they could thrive in, and that teachers would feel safe building in. After speaking to a few of the builders who were involved with various aspects of building the high school, I got a general off the top estimate from them that it would cost to do this between $6 and $9 million to build that pod. That would be approximately 1/4 of what it would cost to build a new Jefferson Elementary School, and probably about half of what it would cost to do remodeling. Now, why would it be so little? And these were unconfirmed. These would have to be confirmed with RFQs and letters of interest. First of all, the building would consist primarily of classrooms, hallways, and bathrooms. All right? The high-cost facilities such as gym, kitchen, sports facilities, cafeteria, drainage, sewage is already in place. So we would not need to build those. The electric, water utilities are also on site, and the parking is also on site. We may have to do some.
Isaac, you're kind of getting away from the motion.
No, I'm not. No, but what I'm saying is, okay, what I'm saying is there are alternatives that we need to provide to the county commission. Right now, the county commission has thrown our proposal back for 3 reasons. Number one, there is a reluctance on the county commission to incur any more debt. Number two, a number of the county commissions do not want to continue on with the same builders that have built our schools in the past. And number three, they have not received the numbers, the competitive numbers they requested in the past from us. So I'm not saying that this is the way to do it, but what I'm saying is this is a way to provide an alternative plan to the county commission at a low cost that we could control from virtually start to finish.
Why don't we discuss this at the work session, okay?
Okay, well,
I taught at the high school for 34 years. There's a reason why there's not a 6th pod there, because the infrastructure of that building will not accommodate feeding the kids. When I left there the last year I taught there were kids that ate forked lunch and were having to stand along the wall to eat, or did not get through the lunch line in time to eat.
Well,
The gym was not big enough. So you can't go in there and add another pod and solve this problem, because the reason why the Patriot Academy was built down the road is because of the infrastructure would not support the number of students we had in high school at that point in time. See, those are things we need to take into account.
You're right. It's legit.
Okay?
I'm not saying that
And
this
I'll
is-
jump in as deep in this pool now myself. I'm off the motion too. So let's put this on. I don't mind the discussion. Don't get me wrong. But let's do it at the retreat. Anybody else? Danny, if that's okay. Don't mean to make you mad, sir.
No,
absolutely. I didn't make this motion to.
Well, wait a minute.
Both you gentlemen have a great look at it right here. But would it not be best, and I'm talking with your motion, I mean, we're not even on.
No, we're not. I didn't make a motion.
Would it not be best to meet with the county commissioners at our retreat?
That's
And
the
let's
reason I've
discuss
asked.
this?
That's
And
exactly
then bring it back about doing this?
That's the reason I asked to meet with our county commissioners.
I agree.
I've heard this proposal that he's presented to us, passed out in my community several times. Hey, how long you lived in this county, Doug? I'd like to ask you.
13
So,
years.
guys, we're gonna have to stay on the
Let me ask
motion.
one more
We got a motion on the floor to ask the director of schools to go to the county commission, ask for a dollar amount, and I'm making this up, but I heard we're gonna use $1 million already. That's what we need to be discussing, okay?
So what is the motion
So-
again? What's the motion again?
I just,
I knew somebody's gonna ask. You done
I'm
that,
asking
you
Bill.
done that on purpose,
I'm
didn't you?
asking Bill.
I would like to make a motion that we
Now listen.
as a school board, ask our director of schools to go to county commissioners or finance commissioners and ask them for the amount of money they will give the school board to use on the Jefferson Grammar School. Once we have the amount, we will go back to our commissioners and tell them what we can do for that amount of money, not counting any money from the school except $1 million the board has in reserve for the school.
Captain. Do you have something, sir?
Yes, I thought I agree with Dan, wouldn't it be better if we talk to our commissioners at our retreat? And I know we done got $1 million in that fund, cause we voted on that, correct? Back passed?
Okay,
I mean.
that's, okay, but we're still, you're kind of moving away from the
No,
motion.
I ain't, I'm just, why are we making a motion to do $1 million when we done did it?
I didn't make a motion about no $1 million.
Okay, what we really need to do is vote on this motion and go from there. And one or two things are gonna happen. We're either gonna have to either to do what you want, withdraw his motion, or it's gonna have to be turned down, or it's gonna pass.
That's all.
Those are the,
If they don't want to give anything,
Just a quick question.
are you sure it's quick?
This is a very quick question. So, whether we agree with Bill's motion or not, we're still going to be meeting with the county commission
At our
in time so regardless of whether Bill's motion passes or not, we're still going
We're
to be
still
meeting.
meeting with him, yes.
We're gonna invite county commissioners.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Okay.
All right,
When does county commission meet again?
January.
we're asking hard
Nine.
questions.
January
Nine.
9th.
All right, I think there's been enough discussion, and, all in favor of Bill's motion, raise your right hand. Two. All opposed, raise your right hand.
And it's only because I'd rather meet with them.
5. 2 yes votes, 5 no
I'd
votes.
meet with them first.
Okay? All right.
No problem. That's my
Thank you, guys. Discussion a little lively, like a rocket ship sometimes. Anyway, I think, Mr. Martin, you want to speak here on this, school commissioner input?
I've been doing some checking, looking at numbers. Jeff Middle School is growing. It's growing big. We have subdivisions coming in. We have a lot of schools going into Jeff Middle School. I would like to discuss, maybe discuss them tonight, put it on the agenda next month. I would like to rezone Newmarket Middle School to Rush Strong. Because the numbers, Rush Strong can handle 200 more kids. Right now, coming out of the 5th grade, this year will be 54 kids. Those 54 kids will be going to Jeff Middle School, which is gonna add more to Jeff Middle School, when we could use them at Rush Strong. So that's why I'm wanting to rezone, is to get more kids. I mean, you come out of Newmarket, you turn left, you go 1.5 miles to Newmarket, or to Jeff Middle. Or you turn right, go 1.5 miles. You know, that's what I'd like to discuss tonight. So, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Couple options, like you said, you could put that on the agenda for January, or our retreat would be a good place. Maybe give the director a little more time to put some numbers maybe.
These are,
Rezoning is,
those are,
well, I know, but still, there's a map involved.
yes.
And you start drawing that line, that's when the phone starts ringing. I went through it, we went through it, and so it's not, anyway, I need to stop also. But that's your option, if you want to put it on the agenda, or you want, or work session, or retreat, or whatever you want to
I mean,
do.
if we need to put it on the retreat to discuss it, I have no problem with that.
Gotta do one now.
If we need to put it on the discussion at the retreat, I don't have a problem.
What would
I
you
just
do?
want it brought up tonight, because I know a lot of these parents, or they're gonna say, you know, they're gonna let me know real quick that, you know, I'm either.
It's
okay
out
with-
there.
or
It's
I've
out
really
there
done-
now.
I've really done something stupid here, you know, but that's what I'm looking at.
Okay,
So,
that's
if we-
fine.
if
Call it
y'all
not a
don't
bad
think
idea.
it's a retreat,
When you look at the numbers and like I say, you get down and draw that line on that map, oh, that's where the problems come in and so on. So we got it on the retreat for January the 21st after 10 o'clock. We're kind of busy from 9 to 10.
Yeah. We're not-
Okay.
or whatever.
I don't know, what do you think, sir? You've done good tonight, you've been really quiet. Before Moose does his job, I would like to present to, Tommy, I'm gonna call him Tommy, something from the school board, show our appreciation of Christmas gift. I know the last year has been, and up and down, we appreciate it. I had Tommy as a student,
It's true.
and I can go ahead and say he was one of my favorite students, okay?
But he's never said.
Not that I'm looking for anything, but yes.
He's never said a word about that.
But anyway, we've got a local person run our school system, and I appreciate Tommy, you might say jumping in the deep end of the pool, because it's sure a job I wouldn't want. And he hit the ground running, has done an excellent job. It's been tough lately for Tommy, with some losses in his family, but Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, appreciate it.
And Moose?
Mr. Chairman, before.
Hold on a minute, Moose.
Did we do the field trip?
Yeah.
We did, okay.
No, you're behind it.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, I didn't know. I
No,
just wanted to make sure we didn't have some.
You don't mess with those people.
Hey, I done the same way.
I think,
We put it under consent agendas.
Yeah, fine, that's
Number
fine.
2.
Yeah. I done the same way.
okay. Doug, can I do it?
I'll make a motion,
Yes.
adjourn.
Good job, guys.